Welcome to Spotlight on Broadway. I'm Pat Collins at Sardi's restaurant, and my guests for the next half hour are co-starring in the hit Broadway show, Pretty Woman, the musical. And also, they are the most popular married couple on Broadway. And we're talking about, of course, Andy, Karl, and Orfeh. It is so great to see you. Now, how long have you been married?
Coming up, it's going to be
18 years in January.
January 10th, 2001 was when we were married. So yes, there you go. Yeah, right.
You get that.
I started thinking about it. I'm like, you want to renew vows or anything like that? Let's do something
it's not
special.
the year. It's
No?
not the year.
It's not. All
We're
right.
going to
don't
wait
think
till
so.
20.
Maybe.
Wait till 20 if we make it.
Yeah.
Now, of course, you're playing the role that Richard Gere had in the movie, and you're playing Kit DeLuca. But describe your character.
Well, Kit is Vivian's best friend and mentor and just all around a good time gal. I think she's really an interesting character. She's got a very rich kind of life behind the scenes, and I think you get to see a lot more of that in the show, you know.
Oh, and she's very likable.
Yeah, she's very, very likable. She's very pro her best friend. You know, she's always looking to make her life, Vivian's life, better. So I think that's a really nice kind of a person to be.
Now, was that role expanded for the Broadway show?
I think it was greatly expanded, actually. I was very lucky that they did that. I think part of the reason was, well, because I kept jumping up and down and begging for them to expand the role. But I think that part of the thing was in the film, people, you know, from what I hear now, and I hear a lot at the stage door, I get a lot of comments, you know, people stop me and tell me stuff that they want to tell me. But I think that there were a lot of loose ends, for lack of a better phrase, in the movie.
In the film, yes.
With
right.
that character, with the Kit role. And I think people wanted to know more about her past, know more about possibly her future. And I think you get that here. And I think that's a big, big plus for the theater-going audiences and for the movie audiences.
Yes.
You know, you get kind of somewhat of a closure that you didn't get with the film.
This is probably where we should remind everyone that Samantha Barks plays Vivian, the Julia Roberts role. Did you two rewatch the movie before committing to the Broadway show, or did you purposely avoid it?
No, I watched that thing a couple times. I was hired late. I was hired for Just Broadway. They had an out-of-town Chicago run where I actually saw the show, and I saw Orfeh play this tremendous role. And then things didn't work out for the person who was doing it there. And
There was someone who
who did it out of town. And then Jerry Mitchell, our director, gave me a call and asked if I would do it. And I was like, I had not considered it. And it was like 2 months before previews or something like that.
No pressure.
So I went back and watched the film. And my big thing that I was obviously looking at the Richard Gere roles, looking at Edward Lewis, and I just remember the movie having such a great chemistry between Richard and Julia Roberts, and I was like, if we can capture that, if I can at least act that on stage, you're winning there. That was my big goal that I wanted to do. So.
Describe working with Jerry Mitchell, the legendary Jerry Mitchell, who is the show's director and choreographer.
You know, we've both gotten to work with Jerry a couple of times in very successful projects. You know, what's great about Jerry, and I know this from the other shows that he's done with a lot of friends of mine, he's extremely collaborative. There's no idea that's too outrageous or off the wall or bizarre or out of, you know, left field that you can't very comfortably take to him and say, hey, Jerry, why don't we try this? What I always warn people is if you show him something that you can't do 8 times a week, don't show it to him. He hires people based on their skill set. And therefore, he wants you to bring your bag of tricks into the room.
Yeah.
And that generally 99% of the time winds up in the show.
The late Gary Marshall was involved in this production as well.
He sure was.
He wrote the book, and of course he directed the movie. Did you get to know Gary at all before
Andy knew the Marshalls very well for some time.
I worked with Gary. I was hired for Happy Days the musical at the Falcon Theater, which is Gary's theater out there in Burbank, and it's a beautiful small little venue. But you know, we were doing Happy Days, so every celebrity in the world came to watch this thing. But it was, and I was playing the Fonz. So it was all these iconic things sort of matching up together with Gary Marshall at the time. And he was just so great. And then he proceeded to come to every Broadway show that I've been in since, and including Legally Blonde. And it's sort of when I got the call to do the role, I didn't really have to think about it because I just loved Gary and his family so much.
You and the company have the opening number in the show, Welcome to Hollywood.
Keep on dreaming.
Do you and the fellow cast members have some sort of ritual backstage, kind of get all energized? Because you got to sell that opening number.
We have a lot of rituals, and we do them and we don't miss them. And whether it's like a fist bump when someone comes off in the wings, or when it's like a high five, we have a certain set of rituals, or like a clinking of our shot glasses. I'm not going to tell you all of them because they're kind of personal, but we do. We have a very specific set of our own self-made rules that we do before every curtain.
Do either or both of you have sort of self-imposed stress backstage, prior, little butterflies?
Just a little bit nervous, even if it's just a tiny amount, to walk out there in front of a brand new audience that's never seen it, making sure you tell the story, making sure your character comes forward as something that they can follow through the rest of the evening. You got to break that ice.
You have starred in several musicals based on movies, and I have a long list here, but I'll only read a couple. Groundhog Day, Rocky the Musical, 9 to 5, On the 20th Century, for which you got another Tony nomination. Is it a challenge, Andy, to play a character previously played by another actor, particularly if a performance you saw, it's sort of, you've got that in the back of your head?
The safety net is everybody knows the story, so I've got a guideline to go, but then I see what happens, and then I have to look at the text and bring what I do to it. And there's no getting around. I'm not Bill Murray. I'm not Richard Gere.
But they can't sing and dance.
Exactly. So I mean, they
Kind of, sort of, they can.
They
but-
can.
Well,
it's
not
just
Not like-
don't do it 8 shows a week.
Not 8
folks.
times a week,
It's a lot
right.
of work.
So
Yeah, there's that guideline, but also I've just discovered it's always return to the text, always return to the heart of what you're going for, and always be true in what you're acting, and then you will just blossom through the role no matter what.
What is special about musicals based on movies?
I think they're in the zeitgeist already. So
Well, in this case, the characters can sing about how they feel.
exactly. Which is very different than doing this. Everything in a movie is like this. And the subtext in a musical, you get to burst that subtext into song. It's almost extraordinarily gratifying. I think that's why, and I think people think it's a recent phenomenon. You go back to the 40s, that's all there was movie to musicals, musicals to movies, that's all they did. I'm all for an original piece that winds up being amazing, but it's not some, fluke that this is what keeps getting done, because there's a familiarity to the title. So people are already coming to the theater going, I loved that movie. Yes. How poorly can they make the musical adaptation? And sometimes it sinks and sometimes it swims brilliantly, and that's what happens.
I think it's a difference also between a major film as opposed to an independent film that not many people know. Something like The Band's Visit was taken and made into a musical from a movie, but people were seeing it for the first time, and they also created its own little world.
Kinky Boots, same thing.
Kinky Boots,
Yes.
very small, but Pretty Woman just happens to be very iconic. So we are also expecting to do a few of the things that you would see in the movie, because if you skip over them, you're done for.
That's
People
bad.
are gonna walk out and be like, where was this? So there's the dress and there's the opera, and it's done in such a creative, wonderful
The
way.
performance I was at, the minute she walks out in the dress, it was almost a standing ovation because she's in the dress. Now, the cast album was recently released. How many hours or days does it take to record?
Well, it was staggered throughout a certain amount of time, but there was, I'd say, about a week and a half or 2 weeks of time altogether where they would do the ensemble parts or the solo parts and things like that. It all came together rather quickly, but this was a very different and unique cast recording experience because you had a bona fide mega multi-platinum rock star producing it. So it was a very different experience because it was a different set of ears, it was a different skill set, you know, more familiar to me because I come from the music business. So it was, I think everyone had the time of their lives. I think if you ask anybody in our cast, this was probably their favorite recording experience as far as, you know, a Broadway cast album's gone. Because it was produced like a CD. Like if you had a record deal at Atlantic Records and you were making your CD, this is how it was made.
And who was the producer?
Brian Adams, Jim Valance, you know.
Just a couple of those.
Just a couple of these guys, they're new. I don't know how it's gonna go.
You graduated from the very prestigious LaGuardia High School for the Performing Arts.
prestigious.
Very prestigious. And soon after, I'm now sounding like your agent, but soon after you had a record deal. So was the career goal then to be a pop music star and not necessarily a Broadway star?
I didn't know there was such a thing as being a Broadway star. I came out of the womb wanting to be a pop star. There was no other road. There was no other future. I went to LaGuardia Performing Arts originally for acting, so I have a good set of chops in straight like method acting, but all roads led to pop stardom. There was a little of it, there was a brush, there was a moment, and I wound up, instead of being Prince, I wound up more akin to Patti LuPone. I don't know. That's what happens, folks. You just keep going with where the wave takes you. You know.
It's all good.
Yeah. I still get to sing live for a bunch of, you know, wonderful audience members. I'm okay.
What show boosted your career, put you on the map? Musical or other show?
Like Altar Boys off Broadway, which was one of the shows that Jerry Mitchell actually saw me in, and he immediately put me into Legally Blonde after that. It immediately happened with that show. I had been doing tours, you know, Broadway tours and stuff like that. I had been from Baltimore. I did a few shows down there and the dinner theater circuit. You know, came up here when I was like 20 and just, you know, bright-eyed, bushy-tailed. But so I felt like I'd had success as a working actor for a long time, but it wasn't until Altar Boys when there was so much heat on this little tiny fun show about a fake Christian rock band, a boy band, that they saw that I could dance, they saw I could sing, they saw I could do all this comedy and all the stuff like wrapped up into one. And for a lot of us, it just sort of like gave us the next level up.
And what was the show that made your career?
You know, I have these fits and starts. It started with Saturday Night Fever. That's where I think people started to mispronounce my name the first time. And it's been happening ever since. But that was the first time, you know, Rosie O'Donnell came to opening night. She's like, I want you on my show. And I got to do that. That was the first brush. And then, you know, I think a lot of the off-Broadway stuff I did, like the Great American Trailer Park, was like a big, it was like this little show in a little theater, just kind of blew up. But then I think Legally Blonde really had the impact. And the funny thing, we all talk about it, we are so much more popular as a cast of the original cast of Legally Blonde now than we ever were when we were in the show, because they filmed it for MTV and it literally went viral. Like, there's not a night I don't step out of the stage door where somebody tells me Legally Blonde is the reason they're in musical theater, or this is the reason they do what they do, this is who they want to be, or what. It is such a bizarre thing what an impact Legally Blonde had after the fact.
You won an Olivier Award and
Yes.
the Drama Desk Award for Groundhog Day last year. And then during a performance, you were injured.
Yeah.
And I was there that night.
Were you there that night?
Yes, I
Wow.
was.
Talk about
And
things you'd like to forget.
well, no, but well, you're so brave. And so you went off stage so all of us thought, okay, what's going to happen now?
Yeah.
And then in a relative short amount of time, you came back, I think, with a cane.
Thanks for staying.
And was that the right thing to do? I mean, certainly for the audience,
For
the show must
for
go
me,
on.
For me, it was. Yeah, absolutely.
I'm just thinking about
100%.
more
Yeah,
injury.
why? Yeah, why would someone with that type of injury walk back on stage? In the cycle of that time between hurting myself and coming back on stage, I think I went through a full lifespan because we were 2 days before we had to open the show, and the Olivier Award meant so much to me, and I felt like I had so much to prove with the show, and the show meant so much to me. So laying there on the floor, it was towards the end of the show where I'm actually helping everybody as Phil Connors, who in the beginning, he's hating everybody. So we're coming full circle with this character. And the last part of the show is singing this song about the journey of life and how much you see now where you didn't see before. And so in that 10 minutes off stage, I went through pain, anxiety, sadness, sorrow, turning it around to
look at all these anger.
Look at all these, anger. But then people started helping me, lifting me back up. Do you want me to wrap your leg? My understudy's like wrapping my leg, and somebody's holding me a cane. I'm like, I have to do this. I have to sing this. It was very exciting. I still can't. It's hard to talk about that part, but that moment meant everything for what it stands for to do that role, and therefore I came back on a stage and sang that last song for everyone.
And where did you first meet?
We met in Saturday Night Fever. He came to the show. It was love at first sight, no joke. I didn't believe it until it happened. And we eloped 5.5 months later. And everyone laughed. I was like, oh, this is gonna last.
We got the right foundation. And we will love and determination. You're all I want to try more, do a little more. All the joys under the sun, wrap up in the one you're all I need. You're all I need. You're all I need.
In Legally Blonde, remind me, you played
Many different characters, but Kyle, the UPS guy, was
and
the
you
one
were
I
the-
was Paulette, the
the
manicurist.
manicurist.
Yes.
I have a quote, and maybe
Okay.
this one is correct, but and I don't know where I got this, but supposedly you
The
said this
internet.
once.
Let's
No,
see.
I think it was something higher brow than that.
Ooh.
And you say, I need an audience to explain and
Yes.
guide my performance.
Yes.
And she really did say that.
I did
So,
say this.
Yes. So could you elaborate on that?
For me, until I get in front of an audience, they, for me, are the other character in the show. Because they dictate the beats, they dictate the moments, they dictate what's working. That's the whole point of an out-of-town tryout. This song's not working. This line doesn't work. This isn't funny. This is really funny. You might want to amp that up.
Yes.
You know, when we've done comedies. So it's very important to know where the funny factor is. So for me, until I'm live and there's an interactive aspect to it, I don't quite know what is perfectly working. In my head, I do. But then it's either corroborated or I was dead wrong. Generally, I'm pretty right 99% of the time.
What was the best career advice you ever received?
I ever received. Oh, I think it's more like someone believes in you. That's a lot of power. All of a sudden, I think I was like at Towson State University back in Baltimore. A director that was directing me in Greece. There, I was playing Danny Zuko.
Yeah,
This
of
could have been
course.
randomly. He was the one person that pulled me aside and like gave me this spark. He said, "It's like, are you thinking about doing this as like a career?" And I was like, I don't know, not really. Hadn't made any choices at that point. I knew I loved music.
Had you been thinking of it?
I hadn't at all.
Okay.
He's like, and he actually was like, I think you got a shot at this. I think you could do this. It was really interesting. It sparked something, and that just sort of led to an onslaught of me like maybe I am good at this. Maybe I should try something else. I'll keep discovering what I can until I make it. And you know, I got now. I mean, 10 Broadway shows later. I'm not gloating. I'm just saying it's
I'll
really.
gloat. He's done like 20.
It's really interesting to go from that point, that spark, and end up here and realizing how maybe I can inspire someone young to
Pass
do
it
that
forward.
as well.
Yes. How about you? Best career advice?
Get another job. No, that's not. Go to law school. What are you, crazy? No, I'm very willful. I kind of do what it is that I think I should do. But my mother never, ever thwarted my ambition. She never said you're crazy. She never said you need to get a day job. She took all the obstacles out of my path. And I think that I kept proving that it was the right choice.
What role did Chita Rivera play in your career?
She was Princess Puffer in The Mystery of Edwin Drood. That's where I first met, no, not my first opportunity of meeting her. I met her while I was on the tour of Tommy. I think I was like 22 years old. I was on some non-equity bus and truck tour. I was in San Francisco, and she's in Kiss of the Spider Woman on tour in San Francisco at the same time. And I got her autograph and all that kind of stuff. I was cool. I was like, you know, I just knew that her name was famous, and I sort of like, I knew that so that was my first time. And then some, I don't know, 20 some years later, I get to work with her. And it was then when you see someone like that, and she saw a kindred spirit in me, the performer, the ability to do what you do on stage and make it work, and also be amenable and be a real person at the same time. Because I think she's just very, you can really talk to her. She loves talking to everybody. And I was at the Olivier Awards with her presenting last year, and I got to present with her. And you never saw like actors backstage literally bowing as she walked by, bowing, and then that's when you just go, wow, this woman has had a huge effect on so many people. Yet I'm just hanging out with her like we're good friends.
Is there anyone else of that generation of actors that you admire?
There's so many people I can draw from. I love people who have that impeccable timing, especially for comedy, like Nathan Lane. They just. It makes me laugh thinking about their time.
And what female performers inspired you or you admired as you were coming along?
From Betty Davis to Cher, all the big divas, you know, all these wonderful, glorious women who are just magnificent and seemingly omnipotent.
Do you think of yourself as competitive?
Sure. I mean, there's a difference with actor competitive. It's because you have to be collaborative, but you also have to like push yourself to the next level. Luckily, I have a wonderful wife who actually like gives me a lot of advice and pushes me a lot, and good things come out of it.
Tough love is my middle name.
It's just like, why don't you do something different than what you're doing, or it just, I have a lot of motivation when I'm asked to do it. I'm like, okay, I shall work now. Just the natural competitiveness of it, but at the same time, I have a lot of respect for people in the Broadway community and every ensemble member. I've been through every rung of this business pretty much, and so I can't say that I'm like, get out of my way, kid. I'm inviting you in because everybody can make it. If I can do it, you guys can.
Was there a plan B if the whole acting thing did not work out?
I mean, I grew up with my father was an appliance refinisher, and my brother's now sort of does housing contracting. That's kind of our house. I like to fix houses, pretty much.
Oh, good. And what was your plan B if the whole act?
Medical school, so I'd still be in residency somewhere. So I took a long break after the record deal. But yeah, medicine, a lot of the elders who are not even on this earth anymore in my family were all doctors and surgeons, and I'm not squeamish. Hands are pretty steady, but I'm okay with this.
Is there a musical that you would like to revive and both co-star in?
I was going to Annie Get Your Gun. I think she'd be a great Annie.
All right. And what would that musical be that you would co-star with your
Little
husband?
Shop of Horrors, still. Broke my heart not to get that one when it came back.
Oh, really?
Yeah, very few things have ever been like, oh man, I wish I gotten that. And Aida. Amneris and Radames, I think that would have been wonderful. We do a couple of those songs in our concerts now and then, but a couple of missed opportunities.
8 shows a week. What do you do on your day off?
Nothing.
Nothing, yeah, exactly. I know I have a lot to sing in the show, so I just shut up.
Yeah. I'm the one. Blah, 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 blah. So,
How do you plan to celebrate your wedding anniversary, which is coming up in January?
We have actual vacation, so.
well, we'll
yeah.
do something
We just happen to time
fun
it
on
out.
vacation.
All right. Well, just please send us postcards.
Okay.
From wherever you land.
All right.
Thank you both.
Thank you for having
having
us.
us.
Thank you
This
so
is fun.
much.
Today.
Thank you.
And, Pretty Woman the musical, Nederland of theater. It's where these two people are, and it's a must-see. Absolutely
Must see.
It's a must-see.
It's a lot of fun.
Thank you again,
Thank you, Pat.
and
Thank you
thank
so
you
much for
for
having
being
us.
with us. See you next time for Spotlight on Broadway.